And we're back with another episode of the Scale of Fate. Luckily, you guys were muted, so the stream couldn't hear you. But, anyways, where we left off last time with this specific party, you had all managed to aid the town of Pearl Bay further than you had already done by bringing in Incarus, who had delivered the cure for one of the many diseases. By doing a bit of snooping around, discovering where the hive of the strange pestilence creatures that were hiding below the city were, and acquiring from the captain of the guard and her compatriots to go and clean it up. And while you all were running around the town, you learned a few things, ended up having another encounter with the strange white dragonborn that kept attacking all of you before being introduced to his sister after the short battle ended, and who offered a pact to Magnus, which he denied and simply disappeared, leaving you all a little tired as the night was already most of the way done, and you are preparing to push your boat out into the waters beside the town of Pearl Bay. So, I assume you're still pushing you're still on the path of pushing the boat out into the waters.
Yes.
Okay, so if all of you help, there's no checks that will be needed.
I'll help. I have a -1 to strength, but I'll help.
Yeah, like helping would make this easier. Like you could get in the water without any issues, and then like all of you get in, like kind of thing. It wouldn't be hard. So you all managed to send this.
Rolled a strength check just to see, and it was a 23.
Okay. Anyway, you push the boat out onto the water, all kind of piling into it. It's a little more. It's not the biggest boat any of you have ever been in. Those of you who have been in boats, it looks like it's probably made for a crew of maybe 4, and there are in total 6 of you. Yes, there are 6 of you that are getting into this boat, so it's a little cramped. Though you get out, and Magnus, you have a decent navigation skills of these waters, but you cannot. I'm going to put it this way: your limited navigation is that of being able to make passage through rivers and across and along shorelines. Going out beyond that point, you would have roughly no idea.
I have proficiency with navigator tools, and it would make sense for a raider. Yeah, and Blood Gulch raiders, because they also act as on pirates. Understanding the open seas, another thing they're trained to do.
I didn't realize you had the proficiency in the navigator's tools. Okay, fine. That makes sense, actually. I was originally thinking you didn't have that, and I had engraved that in my brain. Because I didn't see that when I looked through your character sheet. Don't know how I missed that. But
the continent is fully separated from the rest of the planet. You have to cross open sea multiple times.
Oh, I mean, the way that it would have been is you would have, like, it's not that big of a gap. You would know how to trek those waters, but going beyond like Tiberia or Normandy, you would just be somewhat lost. Like you could manage to get your way back, but it would be like you don't exactly know where you're going, but you have the proficiency with navigator's tools. So
everyone has to. There be one person good with maps on a ship, because there are scouting parties who go a lot further than any places you just mentioned.
Yes.
Luckily,
Are-
between Pearl Bay and Tiberia, there's a couple islands we could hop off of.
But what would be the path that you would be taking?
All right. Let me find that map. I know you
I will resend it again
I'll
because
look
I
in
have
the
it open
academy.
in front of
Here
me.
is the map.
And
The academy
what's
chat should be
Gallife's
okay. It's right
planning?
there. Then okay, cool. All right, there we go. From Pearl Bay, we are going to what do you guys think? Because like in character, first thought is break out into open water. Because personally, without caring about anyone, open water is where Magnus is going to be the most is going to feel the most safe because it immediately cuts off majority of the things that could cause trouble. And
I think we
the
probably have
things
enough
in open water.
provisions that we can avoid island hopping.
Yeah. Like, where do we
Okay.
need to go in Tiberia? It's like the southern point, right?
You're not going to Tiberia. He's trying to go to the meat grinder.
Where's the meat grinder?
Yeah,
Next to
Magnus.
Tiberia.
Magnus is trying to get to Blood Gulch.
There's the meat grinder. Okay.
Yeah, that good old Colonel himself. Yeah, I think he would just gonna chart a course to go between the islands until so that he can get out to open water and follow the coast a few miles just to kind of like just so we don't catch any, like crazy ocean currents.
Yeah, be an eye shot of. That's what I was. Yeah, be an eye shot of shore where you can see it, but like go along it type deal.
Yeah,
Where
like,
it's like on the
when I say
horizon.
eye shot, because the only reason I feel safe with doing that is because our ship is probably small enough we can hide under the road, being able to get eyes on.
Yeah, that's about what I expected from you, is traveling along the coast, but just far enough that you wouldn't be close to it.
What direction is the wind going?
For this time of year, it would be in a more northern direction due to air going from cold to hot.
We're trying to travel
No.
kind of what,
Is
west?
that reverse? Am I reverse here?
Yeah, we're gonna go
Most
south.
colder.
Is it hot to cold or cold to hot? I always get it mixed up.
Cold is the absence of heat.
So wind would be going
hot
south
to
right
cold.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the
wind. Okay, we have south facing wind. That's good. That's good.
okay.
Yeah. So we'll go
And
south through the islands.
Should
and
the
then
wind
come
work
to the
against
coast.
us, I have my wind fan.
Errol is probably going to perch on top of the mast as a lookout with his.
We would need to get to a place with a lot of seafaring peoples for me to retrofit this thing for the correct kind of sail to work with at, the majority of directions of wind. So that wind fan might save us.
I think as soon as we get out into the water, I'm going to try taking a long rest because my spell slots are mostly expended at this point. And we're moving with the wind, which is good.
I definitely want to do that as well, but
I'll keep eye.
You guys can take turns.
actually, yeah, because I want to wait for it to like get dark before taking rest.
It's been dark.
The kobold.
It was nighttime when
It's already
the attack
dark?
happened. Yeah, it was night
Yeah.
when the attack happened.
Yeah, so like yeah, just like I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna start this off for a few miles, then let the kobold take over so I can rest.
And
Yeah, I'm
during
just
that initial start, the kobold kind of was, or Sins was kind of wrapping the wound that he had across his chest, kind of wrapping it so it would stay clean, and to stop any little bit of bleeding that he still had going on. But he does seem to be in well condition.
We should have enough rations to last us until we get there. Worst case, we could hit up one of the.
You have I think one of you has speeds of nourishment too, but I don't remember who.
I believe I'm the one carrying those.
Right. I'm just gonna have Errol hop up to the top of the mast, and then
Yeah,
combined
Magnus,
with
we split him, I think.
combined with dark vision, I'll be able to keep an eye out for now. So I'll yell down to I'll take the first shift or so.
Okay. Roll
Sounds good as I'm
roll
taking
perception check for me while the rest rest.
Oh, yeah.
Why did it freeze?
And
Just gonna hit.
none of you have cold winter gear, right?
Before we go to bed, I'm going to use my cloak of many fashions to put on something a bit warmer as we head out into the open waters.
So I don't know if it works that way. I think it just changes the appearance of it.
Falling?
I think it changes like the material quality and that kind of stuff.
I want to do a double check, but the cold weather thing is not going to affect you too badly. It's mainly just like a thing to see if like there is a debuff that comes into play at some point. Not in the beginning of winter, but like as winter goes on, there may be debuffs that come around. Cloak of many fashions.
If Magnus starts seeing people shivering, he's just gonna be like, the boat's too small to hunt a whale. We won't be able to get materials to create cold weather gear.
Yeah, it doesn't change the weight of the material, so it doesn't change if it's hot, like warmer or colder weather gear.
Point. So yeah, I'll pull out my bedroll and that kind of stuff, but it's probably not gonna be the best sleep.
Yeah, you're freaking out because there's stuff moving behind me. It's just plastic bags moving because of my fan. All right, so yeah, you all take your rest while Sins and Errol keep watch. So Errol, if you want to roll a perception check for me, did you keep watch?
Okay, hold. I'm reloading my page. It's not. Give me a second. I got expertise in perception. Does that mean I gotta add my proficiency to that, or how does that work?
It should have automatically
It means add it
done it.
twice.
It should
Okay.
have automatically done it. Yeah, it's already done it,
Okay.
so that's why you have a plus 11 in perception.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm waiting for the roll to come
I
in.
believe perception is one of the most important skills. I mean,
I got an 18.
an 18. Okay, as you keep watch for this beginning of this night, as the others are resting, it's relatively quiet, and you kind of can, due to your nature and being around these parts, or from the area that you're about to be heading towards, you can feel the what's the word I'm looking for? You can feel like the bitter cold from the winter starting to kind of fall over this place. Something you were used to when you were back home during this time of year, where this bitter cold that was significantly lower or significantly colder than what you were normally acquainted to the rest of the year, kind of begin to fall over. And you don't really notice any creatures about. It's relatively quiet this night. There's no moon. Or no, the moon's at the highest point, or near the highest point, I think. No, it's not. Just kidding. Yeah, there's no moon tonight. I'm remembering things. There's no moon in the sky. There are a few clouds kind of moving about, but other than that, you are alone on this ship with your thoughts and the kobold who's keeping the boat assail the proper direction.
All right.
After a few hours of going, are you guys trying to take shifts, or you just like so many of you stay up for a certain time and then switch out, and the others rest for the rest of the time? And how do you guys want to do this?
I'll probably take a short rest in the morning.
Magnus takes shifts.
Okay. So Sins probably would have woken Magnus first upon you completing your long rest. So like probably around daybreak, when daybreak is beginning, he would have stayed up through the night. He would probably approach you and kind of nudge you awake. Kind of, make sure you're up before he takes his rest.
All right.
If dawn is breaking, Journey will probably get up too.
Yeah. Before Magnus lets Go ahead.
No. I was just telling him. Yeah, like that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
like sun in
it
the eyes.
is
No, like,
dawn. Yeah, by this
before-
point the sun would be peeking up out in the horizon. Now speak, Dredd.
Yeah, before Magnus like lets Dick go to bed, he just looks over and it's just, "You're from Strixhaven, right?"
I need to double check where I said he was from. Did you take a note on that? He said he was from.
I mean,
he said, yeah,
you
he
said he was from Strixhaven.
Yes, I'm double checking.
Yeah.
I'm double checking my notes. He says yes.
Strixhaven's still dealing with those packs of rippers. Last I heard, they've been enjoying the territory around the place.
Not as much as they used to, though some of us have found ways to utilize them.
It's funny. A while ago, those rippers used to be such a big problem over there. My mother, she knows about the place so much, that's where she studied. She always said it was funny. Place she studied, suffering from something as trivial as rippers. There she is, training one like a puppy.
She's not the only one who's done that by this point. But
Yes, but if you
like
ask her, she'll say she's the first.
That I can agree with. He kind of shifts over and kind of finds a place to rest with his stuff. And you also notice that he doesn't seem to be affected by the cold like the others are. He is perfectly fine in this weather. He is a blue cobalt, though, so it might make sense. So Magnus takes the wheel.
Magnus just looks to take the rudder. Then he looks to whoever else is awake and just says, "Don't get in the water. You'll die."
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it.
The seas are clear, Captain. Can I sleep now?
He's talking.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure there was RP going on. No, Trinket by this point has gotten to her feet too and is kind of tightly pulled her cloak around herself and is like slightly shivering.
A bit nippy, isn't it?
Not used to this cold.
I was going to take a short 4-hour rest.
Okay. You can do that if you would like.
How much deck space is there?
Not much. With people laying about, it's a little difficult to, like, people laying along the edge, you can move along the middle and get to the front and the back of the boat, but to be honest, like, there's maybe, like, 5 feet of, like, space to move around between people.
I'm still on the mast, by the way. I'm sleeping up
there. Oh, you're
there.
sleeping up there?
Yeah. Just owl perched up top.
I'm just gonna be, like, sitting and keeping watch.
I thought this thing was closer to a sloop, but how it's being talked about, it sounds more like a Jack Sparrow ship at the start of the movie.
The one I had in my mind is like similar to that of like one of the small like Viking ships, but like more for fishing. Kind of like what those Middle Eastern fishing ships, where it's like the single sail and it's kind of a
like I was thinking like I was thinking like the sloop version of a long boat like that, but I was thinking it was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's like a small. This you could clearly tell was like a fishing vessel. of some sort, like a small one to like go a tiny bit off the coast and then come back.
Yeah, if this is what it is, I'm gonna have to trash it when I need to get a new boat.
Yeah, it's not a big boat.
At least I'll be in a place that has good boats.
Um,
I don't need a fucking galleon. I just need an actual fucking long ship.
Yeah. So you guys travel throughout the day. The daytime, I'm not going to make you roll perception check. Nothing happens during the day. It is relatively quiet. The seas seem to be favorable as the winter is beginning. The wind is blowing in your favor, but is not super strong, and it's not a huge gust. Though it is a continuous flow that seems to be pushing you along. And as the day goes on, you all manage to rest as you need to before the nighttime falls upon you again.
I will wake up again for nighttime.
Harold sleeps all day. All right, who wants to take watches for this, and how long do you want to take watch?
I'll take the entire night.
Well, you slept the entire day, so it makes sense.
Yep. I'm gonna go to bed again because I woke up at dawn.
Trinket does the same. Sins would probably be awake now. He definitely would have rested most of the day, and then
he'll just take shifts just to make sure we stay on.
Okay. So doing this kind of pattern between you guys, I'll read that later. A few days passes as you guys kind of make your way along the coast. We're not going to go through each and every night. I'm not going to make us suffer through the same RP encounter over and over again. And around roughly the third night, as you guys have entered the waters of Tiberia, nearing that bottom portion, where you're able to turn, because you can travel. How far do you travel on boat? It's like a couple 100 miles a day you can do. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it's like 200 miles. I think it's like if going high speeds, and I think it's like 150 miles a day is like a decent pace. But I could be.
Leave the window.
Are you talking about too. Are you talking about boat stats of like a D&D thing, or just realistically?
Either or. They should be similar.
I can find.
Yeah. Look those up for me because I'm trying to remember the exact mileage that you would travel. I want to say it's like 200 miles a day is like typical for like with the wind. But
a keel boat can take. Oh wait.
I might be thinking of the speed of a full ship.
Smaller than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, here, I'll give you the info of a long ship. A long ship can do 3 miles, 3 miles per hour. But there's also like a pretty large, like a long ship, and being an actual long ship, like can hold a good 150 passengers, all that funny stuff. A rowboat, but this thing's, let's see, what about a sailing ship?
If this is a sailing ship,
2 miles per hour. There we go.
2 miles an hour?
According to Google,
so
with a regular sailboat, 100 nautical miles a day with the wind on your side.
I'm gonna go with that number because that is more appealing to my narrative right now.
Yeah, because the DM's manual has a galley.
Yeah, those stats are for if I was to do a combat encounter with something. This is just traveling. So.
Oh yeah.
That's what those are. So
if it was gonna use combat, it should give speed and feet per 6 seconds.
They do miles per hour for sea fights for some reason. I've never understood why. But anyways, by like roughly the third night of you guys traveling, you guys hit this kind of curve near the bottom, and as you are all resting, and are those of you that are off shift or resting, Errol, roll a perception check for me.
Aye, Captain.
Roll it with
loading.
Roll it with I guess I'd say roll it with advantage, but you'll probably do well anyways.
All right, well, I'm just gonna roll 2, and then we'll see what happens. Did it fucking
That rolled the
roll?
first one. You rolled a 15
Hey,
on the
let's
first
go.
one.
Loading. It's loading.
I don't know why it's
1
being
minute
slow for
ago.
you.
It's just giving me crap today. Another 15. This is some bullshit.
Okay. Well, this wouldn't be hard. As you were sitting there upon the peak of this mast, you begin to hear the wind kind of pushing past you, and there's a few moments as you hear what almost sounds like your name within the wind. And a few minutes of this passes as you're trying to like identify where this could be coming from, and you get this sense of there is something towards the land that is calling your name. And it's almost like the voice. It's similar to a voice of someone who seems weak and withered. Kind of this arrow kind of voice.
What's the kobold's name?
Sins.
I'm gonna shout down, "Hey, Sins, do you hear anything?"
He looks up at you and kind of turns his head and kind of listens for a moment, and shakes his head, and he says, I do not hear anything.
Hey, some people are trying to sleep down here.
I hear something calling my name. I'm not sure where it's coming from, though.
I'm just gonna peek my head over the side of the boat towards the land.
Roll a perception check if you want with disadvantage.
If it is not a living creature, then it is simply the sea wishing to drag you under its current.
Okay. I have dark vision. Would that affect anything?
It's still with disadvantage because it's going to be beyond your range.
Yeah, that's 8. I don't see anything.
You just see darkness. it's dark beyond where you could see.
It's probably a siren or something. You should probably ignore it.
That might be best.
And you continue to hear this.
I'm a little interested, though.
Yeah, you continue to hear this voice as you keep going, and you have this sensation in your chest of almost like a curiosity that's telling you to go and see what it is. And you have a sense that you know exactly where this thing is coming from. And it's strange.
Since I'll be right back, and then I'm gonna kind of stretch out my wings a little bit, and then take off towards the coastline using the shadow step to
so you
close
head
the
to
distance.
the coastline, reaching the snowy sandy banks of Tiberia, a familiar area to you. And as you kind of, what are you saying?
I'm not landing, by the way.
You're not
staying
landing?
in the air.
Okay, so you're staying in the air. You kind of look about the space, and there's a section of the beach that you can't see. It seems to be darkened, and you can't it's like a large area that seems to be covered in this darkness that you can't see through.
I don't like that.
And you hear your name being called from that darkness, though.
I'm going to open up my locket to activate the darkness.
Okay.
Shadow step into the other darkness using my darkness, bringing it with me.
So you find yourself shadow stepping towards this, and you find this darkness is solid.
Oh, fun.
And as you kind of do, it shifts slightly in front of you, and you see a set of red eyes looking at you that says, and you hear a voice immediately after that says, Errol, outcast of Riverdale and hunter of raiders, user of darkness, I've been waiting to finally meet you. And this darkness,
Who are you?
This darkness begins to uncoil and unravel as this giant serpent-like creature sits before you. Its head mere feet from you as it stares at you and does not move its eyes from you. And as you ask this,
friend or foe?
as you
Actually, yeah,
As you ask who it is, it's hisses slightly and just says, I am Dalgamane, the Viper of Vengeance.
I'm pulling up my docs. I need to take notes. 1 sec. Alright. What'd you say his name was?
Dalgamane.
Spirit of Vengeance. Never heard of you before.
As many have not. For my name is not spoken by most.
Oh, Mr. Dalgamane, what do you want with me? Because I've already gotten my vengeance, so...
There's a darkness in you that intrigues me. Something that's driven me to want to form a pact between us.
I'm away of a shadow monk, so... That's it.
I know your past, and I know the things you can do. Though I think I can make you stronger, better, and can get you the things you want.
See, but I don't know how you know what I want if I don't even know what I want. So, I'm assuming this is where you're gonna come in with now I'm gonna take your soul kind of thing.
And you watch as this kind of serpent shakes its head and just says, I do not wish to take your soul. But if you are to follow this path and make a pact with me, you would simply be giving up the souls of those you kill for power. And as it says this, its eyes almost widen at the word power and seem to shimmer for a moment as it continues to stare at you, unblinking.
Girl's gonna pop a squat, just sit down in front of the creature, kind of just rubbing his chin, thinking.
And like looking at this thing, it's the width of this thing is probably like 10 feet in diameter. Like this thing could easily swallow any of your party members whole. And it is just simply talking to you right now.
So what are the drawbacks of this? There's always a price to pay.
You simply have to give the souls of those you kill to me. There is no other price.
So how does this pact work?
Are you accepting my pact?
No, I'm simply asking how it works, how it would be done.
And you watch as it shifts a little bit, and out from almost like coming from the dark and void of a body that it has, a smaller version of itself emerges and stops mere feet in front of you and just kind of sits there, kind of partially coiled and sitting on the ground. It just says, you have to accept my mark, and power will come with it.
So if I accept your mark, all of those that I kill, their soul goes to you.
Yes.
Does that include this man's soul as I rummage through my backpack or the bag of holding and pull out the skull?
No, it does not. Unless, of course, you kill another.
Are you familiar with this kind of spirit?
I've seen it before.
Do you know why I kept it?
Precisely.
You drive a hard bargain. As long as I don't have to lose my sanity, I see nothing wrong with this. I have nothing left to lose, or it's already been lost.
Of course. And if you need any more... what's the word I'm looking for? I'm like fucking lost on my words. I just like blanked out. Shit. Oh, if you need anything to sweeten the deal, I can perhaps help you with your little idea. As it eyes kind of slightly glance towards the skull that you're holding in hand, and then back to you.
Skull away. Back in the bag. Alright, Mr. Zidalgamane, correct?
Yes. Yes.
You got yourself a bargain.
And it gives you a slight nod as you watch this smaller snake kind of slither toward you, and it brings itself around. It kind of coils itself around your right arm, and right as it kind of positions itself, it bites down into your wrist, and there's a searing pain in your arm for a moment as it begins to merge with you, turning into this almost black serpent tattoo along your arm that seems to coil up to your shoulder. And then the pain is gone, and you and the giant serpent now are sitting beside each other, or not beside each other, in front of one another, as you now have this marking of Dalgamane, which, if you want to go into the inventory, there's a thing called the Mark of Dalgamane that you need to add now.
Alright. I add that to my character, right?
Yes.
Not the bag of holding. Cool.
No, to your character. And I immediately equipped it. It's got a few things that it'll do to your character sheet. And he says, now, if you wish me to help you with your spirit, I will need the skull for a moment.
Go pull the skull back out and hand it to him.
No, you kind of just place it on the ground. He doesn't have hands. It'd be a little insulting to try to give him the... So you place it before him, and you watch as he slightly opens his jaw towards it, and with a fang extruded begins to almost expertly carve into the skull without having to directly look at it. And when he's complete, you notice there is a bit of almost a dark greenish liquid on it that upon kind of hitting the snow sizzles a bit. You assume it's probably some sort of acid that he produced. And as you wait a moment, it does kind of clear off of the skull, and he says, there. It simply needs to be placed upon one who has been cursed with this spirit. But I must warn, it may pull other spirits along with it.
Good to know. I don't think this is something I'm going to test out right now. Or on the ship. Or it may cause some damage.
Of course.
Well, will you be coming to the ship with me? Or are you just going to disappear and do some spooky shit?
You have my mark. I will always be close by. And you watch as he says this, he seems to sink into the earth and just disappear.
Alright, Arrow's just gonna put the skull... put the skull in the bag for now, and then make his way back to the ship, and then just perch on the top again.
And as you kind of slip this skull into the bag, you do notice like the tattoo that's now on your right arm. The eyes almost seem to move on occasion that are on this tattoo. So it seems he is very truthful about being always nearby.
Yeah, I got a serpent friend.
During this time, as you are returning, Cherney, you are fast asleep. Well, as asleep as one can be, freezing cold. As you are sleeping, there's a strange warmth that kind of falls over you as you are asleep. And you feel almost weightless for a moment as you seem to relax to this warmth and open your eyes to find yourself almost standing upon clouds in the sky. You were looking down over part of Almoria, seeing the looking as you look around, you can see the mountain range before you. To your right, there's the city of Grandhelm, with the castles towering over it. Beyond the mountains, you can see some of the other towns. You can see Stone Farm and I'm forgetting the rest of the names of the towns that are over there. This is how much I know not about my map. Field Point. You see the town of Portside. You can see Grimscar just below you. And as you are sitting there and kind of taking in this scene, kind of almost in awe by this, you hear a voice, a female's voice, very soothing and passionate voice that just says, Anelia, daughter of Gallia and Valius, wandering musician of Almoria, caring spirit of friends. I have seen your heart in the things that you desire, as well as what you fear in this world, those things that linger in your mind and make it difficult to sleep, the unknowns, things skulking in the darkness that seem to wait to snuff out any life that it can reach, including those you care about. As the voice is saying this, your vision begins to change as you can see down below an army marching from Grandhelm towards into the mountain range, and you can see far beyond it to the west. There is one of the cities just out of sight seems to be ablaze, smoke rising to the air as a army of figures in this black armor seem to be approaching from the west. To you, in this moment, you realize that this looks like the beginning of a war. Moments before a battle is going to ensue on this western front of Almoria. And as you are coming to this realization, you hear the voice continues that says, as you follow this path, others fight for the future of Almoria, defending against the followers of my sister Zarvoth. And the scene changes once more, and you find yourself standing within what looks to be a fairly large cathedral, with a figure standing before you. This figure seems to be almost entirely made of marble. This light slipping through cracks within her form as she is dressed in this beautiful cloak of various colors that seem to shift and change, almost like a sea of passion and purpose would be the thing that Journey would come to conclude in her mind. And this figure speaks and just says, I have seen your passions. You dedicate your dedications to the betterment of others. I've seen the strength where there was once weakness, and have found a way to spark a light in the darkest places. And you watch as she holds a hand towards you, this slight glow within it. And she says, for that, I offer you my blessing as you continue this path. And you feel this light within her hand overtake you, and you are blinded for a moment before you are awoken by the rising sun.
Kind of like blinking, just kind of checking, see if like the mark is there.
You find within your hand there is a holy symbol that you didn't have before. And you can mark that in your inventory, put holy symbol of the god that you worship.
Okay.
I'm not remembering the name of, because I'm bad. I'm a bad person.
Kind of wake up and Savanoff.
Yeah, Savanoff.
And I'll look over to Trinket, kind of with like worry in my eyes. And is she awake yet?
Trinket is passed out. She is in a ball. Her cloak squeezed as tightly around her as possible, and she is face down, slightly shivering in the cold. Clearly doesn't have a winter coat going on.
I'll like lightly tap her and try to wake her up.
She shifts a little bit and kind of grunts slightly before slowly kind of opening one eye and kind of looking up at you.
And I'll say, Trinket, I had a vision. I fear Almoria is in great danger. Just at the brink of war.
She kind of takes a moment to process that. She kind of slowly lifts her head. She says, Are you sure?
Savanoff came to me in my dream, and I'll show her the mark.
It's not a mark. It's a legit like physical holy symbol in your hand that you didn't have.
The symbol. I'll show her the symbol that materialized. Because I think if anyone, Trinket is probably the one who knows exactly what each and every one of us carries as a thief.
Does Errol see all this unfolding below?
This would be like as the morning's happening. So if you're still awake, yeah, you would see it. Your passive perception's good enough.
I'm just watching, just from above. I'm not saying anything.
And you also notice this holy symbol is made of a similar marble to the individual that you talked to, and there are a few spots that almost seem to produce a slight glow to them within it.
Is there any holes within it?
It's like these tiny little cracks that you can see, and you can see it's almost like there's torchlight within this thing that's like slipping out, but it's not very much that you can see.
I mean, like how like a rosary kind of is like a loop for like thread or stuff to go to.
There's a way, yeah. There would be a place that you could thread something through it.
Kind of as like I'm talking to her, I am rummaging through my bag of holding, and out of my costume kit, I take a kind of like a strand of like thread and thread it through the symbol and tie it around my neck.
Yeah, and as she's kind of looking at you and kind of looking at the symbol, she kind of turns away a little bit, seemed to be in thought, and she just says, I feel torn. I feel almost that I should be going home to help. She kind of lets her head kind of dip a little bit.
I sympathize with your concerns. It's obvious my fate lies back home. My family is still there. But I can't abandon Magnus in his time of need either.
I don't think we have much of a choice either.
No, I don't think we do. But I think once our business in the meat grinder is concluded, it's obvious where we should probably venture next.
She kind of gives you a nod. And just kind of, now kind of a little bit deep in thought, now wide awake, still shivering. And Draka, I need you to roll a con save for me real quick.
I'll put my cloak around Trinket's shoulders because she's obviously struggling with the cold. I'll say sorry for waking you.
It's fine. I was going to get up anyway soon. And what'd you say, Jared?
Hold on. I forgot to change. I forgot to pick a feat last time, so I was in my character sheet.
He was deep. He's deep in his dreams.
Okay, you don't gain a point of exhaustion due to the cold. You are you are freezing though. Out of everyone, Andraka he is shaking. What's something I want to compare this to? I'm trying to keep it PG.
Shaking like a dog on the 4th of July.
That
like
works.
With the fireworks.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, he's shaking like that. He is full shivering, just like no insulation on his body. Trinket's doing a lot better than he is.
Kind of like seeing Andraka waking up. I saw like my costume kit out, and I'll go over to him and start just like without even like discussing with him, like putting layers on him, because he is not going to discuss it with me anyway. So
probably just sit there and stare at you.
yeah, I'm putting some layers on him because he's been struggling with the cold too.
Okay. So, as you guys,
Probably gonna. I was gonna say I was gonna take the skull out and examine it.
Oh, Journey, real quick, roll a perception check for me.
Okay. 16.
Okay. You would notice this as you walk away from Trinket. She does cough a little bit and kind of wipe her eyes. And you do notice that on her hand, after she kind of wipes her eyes, there is almost a blackish brown liquid that's kind of coated on her finger that she hasn't noticed.
Oh,
double back.
I'm assuming I see this as
well. Errol
sees
this.
I'll take a
You just see this and your eyes go wide, like, oh shit.
I'll take a handkerchief and I'll wipe the fluid off of her hand onto it, and I'll ask her if she's feeling all right.
She kind of takes it, or are you just wiping it off her face? She just kind of She kind of waits for you to finish, like, wiping her eyes, and just kind of just says, to be honest, I've just been hungry these last few days. The rations don't seem to be doing anything.
Don't eat any raw meat.
I'll look up to
You're
Errol.
not allowed to. Oh, I'm next to you at this point.
He's come down.
I was like, oh hey, I'll show him like the fluid. It's like, is that what I think it is?
Errol just has fear in his eyes.
Errol, you hear within your head.
I see.
The spirit is within her.
How do I get it out?
The skull.
Will that transfer it to the skull?
It will, but there's a chance it may take her with it.
Journey, I need to fill you in on something.
And as you're saying this to Journey, he says, if the body dies, so does she.
Journey, notice you got a little tattoo. Congratulations.
It's not a tattoo. She's just holding a holy symbol. It's a physical thing. It's not a tattoo.
Congratulations on the holy symbol. Looks like you made the right choice. I may have made a pact with a demon. So.
That's a great thing to tell someone.
This is a lot to take in. Continue, Errol.
So, Trinket here seems to still have the spirit within her. Looks like she drew the short end of the stick. So we're off
Usually
the bat.
does.
So we're good. We're chilling. Here's the oh no part. So I could get the spirit out of her, but there's a chance it may kill her in the process.
Journey's a little panicky at this point. Hearing
there's a lot that's just come down all at fucking once.
Errol's very calmly saying all of this too.
Jeez, this day does not let up, and I'm just going. Like, I'm assuming Trinket's still there.
Trinket's not paying attention to this conversation. She's kind of still on the idea of, oh shit, the country's at war and I'm nowhere to be found and my family's
I'm just
still there.
going to put my arm around her and kind of like pull her a little close.
Algamane, how can I ensure her safety?
Keep the body alive.
Keep the body alive. Okay, I have an idea. I'm gonna rummage through my bag for that green vial that Icarus gave us.
A healing potion. Did I tell you what the stats were from that?
Yep, 44 plus 4 health.
Yep, okay. I wanted to make sure.
Okay. Do you want to tell Trinket or should I?
I'll try.
She kind of looks between you and just says, "Tell me what."
As he's doing this, I'm getting like the skull and the vial ready.
Trinket, it turns out you might be a vessel for the spirit of that giant deer-headed monstrosity we kind of sort of thought we killed under Pearl Bay.
As you say this, she jaw drops, eyes go wide, and she is petrified in fear.
And I'm just gonna. Errol thinks he can extract that evil spirit using this. Well, this kind of gesture. He has a skull. I don't know if there's any correlation, but anyway, apparently he made a pact with a demon that gives you a chance at surviving. Now, I don't like the wording. It sounds really ominous.
I'm going to chime in and be like, I genuinely don't know what the odds are, but he said that as long as we keep her alive, everything should go smoothly.
So I'm just gonna ask, do you want to go through with this? Sounds like it could be potentially deadly, and like obviously, am I saying I'm completely overloading you with details and
Trinket, it's either you die now or you turn into a monstrosity and kill us all. So
she tries to speak.
Either she dies now or she lives.
And the monstrosity goes into the skull. Correct. All right, there's 3 options.
I'm just kind of like I'm palming my symbol and kind of like waving it around like heal.
Right. Keep that shit away from me.
Safanoff is the goddess of health. You know, presumably if she gave me this symbol, it's to help.
Yeah, you use that on her. Don't use that on me.
The perfect time of year to do something.
As this is happening, Sins kind of wanders over and just says, "What is happening here?"
So,
you like deers?
They taste good.
Yeah,
that is a bad way to explain this.
Okay, Magnus, remember how I told you that Trinket had a very like a possibility of being possessed by that Wendigo thing?
Ears.
But then the dragon dude attacked and that kind of all got forgotten about. Anyway, it's incredibly relevant now because apparently it's true.
The demon tells me so.
Yes.
And
this is a small boat. I have ears.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm just kind of a little panicked right now. I'm sure you can understand. And I'm just going to take my kind of like rosary and put it around Trinket to kind of like hopefully promote her health.
Okay.
Always offer some kind of
takes a
protection.
trinket and just says, if you believe the risk is worth it, now is the perfect time. This time of year is the perfect time to do so, as the water is that body we can get to a witch mainland. The witches on mainland are very good at bringing people back to life. I've had to be dragged from the underworld at least 3 times.
That's terrifying. How about we don't die? Trinket,
Just
I'm
ask
gonna do
Trinket what she
everything in my
wants.
power to keep you alive. I have this vial of healing from the doctor from, you remember Icarus?
Looking at Trinket, she is unresponsive. If you could
Okay.
hear a mind shatter, it has shattered. She cannot respond right now. She is in complete
think
utter shock.
All right, I
that's
think that's a yes.
okay. Let's go do it. I'm just kind of like
Alright.
holding her kind of tight.
Dalgamane, what do I have to do? Just put the skull on the head?
Yes.
Are you sure you fucking with me?
I would not do such a thing after we've made a pact.
All right, fair enough. Journey, you might want to stand back a little bit.
If that's entirely necessary, okay.
I
No,
just don't know what's gonna happen, so.
well, if you don't know, then I'll just keep on like staying by her, and just kind of
Okay.
like kind of like mumbling a prayer to my goddess.
Hold this as well, and I'm gonna hand you the vial of healing.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Trinket, I'm gonna put this on your head.
Unresponsive.
Cool. Cool. I'm just gonna place it on her head.
You place it upon her head, and it's almost like it just suctions to her. And she goes from this face of shock to what you can only see is only really her jaw underneath this skull as she wields back. And it looks like she's trying to scream in pain, but she cannot produce a sound as these almost black tendrils latch onto her head, and she begins to strain from this. You do watch as the fur around her head does seem to pale out a little bit as this is happening.
Ernie, we need to heal her.
So we're gonna do this round by round. So this is the first round.
Oh.
You guys get to do stuff now while the first round is happening.
Who's first?
Want me to do some heals?
I mean, just
I could try to restrain her while you do the heals.
as soon as there's a pain reaction, Magnus is just going to like take her hand and just say, "Squeeze. It lessens the pain."
She's not able to respond.
I'm gonna hold the other, whatever the opposite arm that Magnus is not holding, and then hold her leg as well.
Okay.
I'm going to like palm the symbol I placed around Trinket's neck, and I'm going to cast Healing Word at the 2nd level.
Okay.
And
do that healing.
Yep, that will heal 9 points.
Okay. You see some of the paling that happened to her seems to fail or fade back to her normal color.
I didn't. What'd you say, Dread?
You to you.
Right. It cut out. You're asking if the demon spoke to me, correct?
Really?
Yeah, it cut out just then.
Okay. Yeah.
Fuck.
The demon's been helping me. I'm gonna kind of like glance down to my right arm that has the tattoo.
Ask if there is a way to share in the pain.
Dalgamane, is it possible?
Unfortunately, there is not a way.
So we just have to keep her alive?
Yes. Now we start round 2 as she takes more points of damage. The the effects of whatever pulling this is doing to her seem to shoot further down her body. You see veins under her fur blackening as the fur around them seems to almost wither and gray. She continues to wheel back in pain. It is now your turns to do things.
Oh, I have an idea.
Yes.
I'm going to cast Enhance Ability
Okay.
on her, and I'm going to cast Bear's Endurance.
Okay.
So she'll gain 2d6 temporary hit points.
Roll those 2d6 for me.
Actually, first, yeah, okay. Let's see. So she has 6 extra hit points.
Okay.
And then, as my bonus action, I'll cast. What's it called? I'll cast 3rd level Healing Word.
Okay.
It's like, it's okay. It's okay. So she'll heal 10.
All right. Anyone else doing anything except for holding her and kind of comforting her as she is going through this?
Journey, if she starts rapidly deteriorating, use the vial, but as the last resort.
I understand.
Okay. All right, Trinket, you're going to be fine. We're going to get through this.
Round 3. The effects don't seem to shoot through her as fast as they were before, but they are still... They as you were healing, you're noticing the effects of this seem to fade and then come back, sometimes in greater amounts, sometimes in lesser. Right now it's lesser. So you can do healing if you want to, or other things. So this is round 3. I'm allowing any healing that's needing to be done. No healing?
We're just holding on.
I'll do a 1st level Healing Word then.
Okay.
So that'll just heal 6.
Okay. And now we're doing round 4. As the necrotic effects of this seem to shoot about midway down her body by this point. They're around kind of halfway down her torso.
4th level Healing Word.
4th level Healing Word.
Please. Fucking please.
Heal 13.
Oh, beefy.
Okay. Well, we're doing round 5.
Oh my god.
There was a cost to this, and you guys are doing pretty well against the cost right this moment. All right. She continues to strain her, actually being able to squeeze your hand now, Magnus, as it seems that she is kind of slowly developing the ability to react to such pain that is going through her right now.
3rd level Healing Word.
Okay.
Algamane, how much longer?
10 points.
He says, "It's hard to tell, but it should be over soon." Round 6.
1st level Healing Word.
Okay.
So that'll heal 8.
So it seems you're keeping her roughly in the same spot. It's not progressing anymore, but it's not reducing at all. Round 7.
That's good, at least.
Healing Word, 1st level.
Okay.
7 heal.
You watch as it does actually manage to progress a little further, reaching down to her waist around this point. These necrotic kind of movement of the necrotic energy seems to reach her waist. I just said round 8. Is that what I just said? Or did I say 7? Yes, it's 7.
Okay.
Yeah, round 7.
So
Healing Word, 2nd level.
Okay.
So 8.
It goes further down, reaching to her knees now.
Sherney, I think it's time. We need to use the vial.
Round 9.
I agree. I'm gonna use the vial on her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Use the healing. It's
48
44 plus 4.
Yep.
How's she look?
She goes unconscious.
Okay, I mean, I can't physically. How's she look?
The necrotic energy reaches down to the bottom of her feet, but she seems to
God.
still have life to her, but she is quickly deteriorating.
We need
Okay.
to do saving rolls on her or something.
Then I'm going to cast Healing Word.
Did you roll for
At-
that potion?
Oh, no, I haven't.
So the
How do I roll for
4d4.
it?
Yeah, 4d4. That's a bonus action.
Oh, 44. I thought you said 44, the number.
No, 4d4.
D4. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Um,
4d4 plus 4.
Okay. So that's going to heal 16.
So that brings her up again. So as she's falling backwards and you catch her and pour this potion down her throat, she seems to gasp and then continue straining. You can also
Bonus
do
action. Healing Word at the 4th level.
Okay.
There we go. That heals her 18.
18.
Oh, okay.
All right.
not
Hey,
so
I
jazz, but
outperformed the potion there.
Round 9.
Yeah. Jesus.
Most of the effects seem to drain away, and it gets back to roughly just above her mid torso. Okay, she takes damage from that.
1st level Healing Word. So that's going to heal 6.
Okay, and round 10. And you watch as she reels back, and this time produces this screech, a mixture of her own as well as this almost demonic bestial screech that seems to layer over top of hers. And as she screams, it lasts for a good 6 or 7 seconds before she lets out a gasp, the skull falling from her head, and she stares blankly into the sky, breathing, alive, but a bit in
He's
shock.
like, yes! And she hugs Trinket and gives her a peck on the cheek.
The rest of you,
You're alive.
as you are looking over Trinket, her once very vibrant, kind of golden yellow fur has a very light white to the tip of each little bit of hair. And the around her face seems to have become a very solid, like snow white color.
We did it.
And she is in shock. Her eyes are wide, but she is alive. She's got obviously probably taking a moment to breathe, but she is alive.
I'm gonna move the skull away from her and ask Dalgamain if it's been done.
As you pick up the skull, before he can even answer, you hear, as you pick up the skull, these whispers coming from it. As you notice, the runes that were carved into it are now filled with a black, sort of solid liquid that seems to have filled in each of the gaps. And I'm going to add the item to your inventory for you, as to not say the name.
I'll remove the skull placeholder.
Yeah, remove the skull, and you will now have the new item, which you can read about, which Dalgamain would probably tell you this. I'm not going to state it out, but you now have...
Oh, no. What the fuck?
And looking at it too, you notice that the eye holes for this seem to be these void-like pockets now that almost, looking at it, it almost looks like it is filled, but you could move your hand through it and it just kind of fades through this dark mass that seems to fill in the eye holes. Yeah, you now have the soul of the Wendigo trapped within the skull.
I'm gonna look over to them and be like, it's been done. The spirit is now trapped.
Thank you, Errol. Thank you so much.
Dalgamain, is there any after effects of this?
There should not be.
To Trinket, not to the helmet.
There should not be. Maybe trauma.
Trinket.
But that is it.
Trinket, you might just have PTSD now, but you're alive.
She gives a very weak nod.
Magnus.
Down at Trinket and says,
Suffering is a truly horrible thing. However, suffering little one.
Man, I really love it when you cut out.
I slip the marble rosary
Fucking
from around her neck and put it back around mine.
She kind of swallows a little bit, like kind of taking a moment, and kind of slowly gets to her feet and shifts over to the edge of the boat before hurling over the edge. Whatever she had in her system is now in the water feeding the fish.
Just patting on her back,
okay,
like, there.
Drop.
There.
And there's a moment
If
after,
you need to purge, drink a little bit of the water.
Yeah, as she like pukes into the water for a few seconds and then dry heaves for a moment. She kind of, once this little episode's over, she kind of slowly sinks down on the side of the boat, kind of shaken and tears in her eyes, but just kind of tries to get over what she just went through.
Gurney will keep sitting beside her and with an arm around her, kind of comforting her.
All right. Sins, who's been watching this whole thing, kind of looks over everyone and kind of shakes his head a little bit and just says, "To be honest, I'd never experienced this much odd phenomenons until I was introduced to all of you." And he's gonna go shift himself off to the side and kind of get
You do
comfortable.
not know a blood. Yeah, Magnus just looks to Styx.
Bro.
Then you blood traitor.
Personally, I think for me, an exorcism is probably at the top of my list of weird things I've seen / participated in.
He says, I've
Seeing hell was the craziest thing.
I have seen some terrible things in my time, but this is definitely one of the more memorable things. Though the Nine Hells was a time that was interesting. He kind of settles himself down and kind of...
Did you go to the Ring War?
I traversed quite a bit of it before making it back.
I was put to a place where the worst go. Then I was given a weapon, punish them. I tore my own grand face. They're not for him.
Kind of nods, then kind of lays down next to his stuff, kind of getting settled. Alright, so for the rest of this day, there's nothing else that happens. Because that was the most, the most that you guys are going to witness this day, specifically. Alright, a few more days pass as you all continue your journey towards towards the meat grinder. Sorry, I just had like 3 messages come on my screen at the same time. I was trying to figure out which one to read first.
Is that another long rest then?
Yes, you will all take a long rest again.
Thank you.
Andraka, con save.
$13.
You barely got over my DC for the exhaustion. Okay. as the seventh night on the water transpires. And Draka, you find yourself unable to sleep. You don't know if it is cold or something else that's bothering you. Roll a perception check. Do not take disadvantage on this.
13.
13. Something draws you towards the south side of the boat, towards away from the land. And you can see somewhere on the water, there almost looks to be something small drifting about 50 feet from the boat. Something bobbing about. And as you kind of stare at this object, you hear whispers coming from it. And a drawing towards it, as if you have some purpose getting a hold of whatever this thing is that's floating upon the water.
Well, I'm just gonna jump out of the boat and start walking towards it. Because I have a ring of water walking. So.
Yes.
That's convenient.
So Errol is the only one that would probably see this.
Just watching, just kind of like, what the fuck? Is this man Jesus? Wait, that's not a thing in this universe. Never mind.
There's rings of water walking. If walking on water was a Jesus thing, there would be a lot of people that are like that because there's a spell for it and items for it.
See, I'm new to this.
And Draka, you approach this object floating upon the water. This strange kind of curved piece of wood that's kind of what looks to be face down in the water. And as you kind of grab a hold of it, I'm trying to remember what this object's called so I can describe it because the others need to know what this looks like. You pick it up and you find it is a strange kind of wooden mask. No necessarily eye holes through it or anything else, but it's a strange mask that kind of reminds you of home. Almost a nightmaric piece of equipment made to kind of scare off enemies, something that a tribal individual would use as a way to imbue fear into those that they are hunting or fighting. But you do have this mask in hand, and it is whispering to you.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Okay. You looking at this object, it is a very dark magic surrounding it. Something you've seen before. Something that is familiar to you specifically. And it is a strange energy coming off of it. You can't tell what specific school of magic this is, but it is. What you can tell is it is something of a higher power. It is from a higher power, per se.
I guess you said it looks like a mask.
It is what looks to be a wooden mask that would fit over an individual's face. It doesn't look like it would fit your face, but it looks like it would fit the face of like a human.
I'm gonna just put it in front of my face.
Okay. As you bring this item to the tip of your snout, you feel it almost latch onto you as it almost seems to force itself to your face, and there's a moment of discomfort as your head feels like it's being crushed. the mask pressing itself to the end of your snout. And there is a moment you find yourself in almost excruciating pain. And after a few moments pass, the pain's gone. And you can see. You no longer see a mask in front of you, but you can see. And as you bring your hand up to touch your face, you find that the mask is now where your snout was. And as you kind of feel about, your head seems to have altered slightly to fit this mask. And it is attached. And you know the object that you need to add. Which I can add it for you, actually, because I'm right here. Or do you have it open?
I can add it.
Okay. Oh, I'm on Trinket's character sheet. That would have been awkward. But yes, you now have this mask imbued to your face. Errol, you watched this happen. Strange transformation of your reptilian friend, who is still freezing cold, by the way. You are still freezing. You are so cold.
I'm gonna think nothing of it. I can't really pass judgment when I have a snake wrapped around my arm.
I guess I'm just gonna walk back towards the boat.
All right, and Draka gets back into the boat. And I'm assuming you just go to sleep?
I'm gonna sit down and, well, would I have rested at this point?
It would be in the middle of the night, so you would have been like midway through your rest. You're not exactly getting a traditional full rest anyways because you're freezing cold. But
I'm just gonna sit down and try to talk to God like I've been doing the past couple days.
I'm gonna go down to him, just kind of in front, examine the snout. Like,
you notice he no longer has a snout, just a wooden mask now.
just a wooden mask. And like,
It looks like he put his head into a box, but the box cuts off where his like snout should be extending, and there's just like nothing there.
That's pretty cool. What does that do?
I'm ignoring him.
Fair enough. All right, I go back on top of the pole.
Is there anything you're saying specifically to your god?
I'm just, waiting for him to answer because I have questions.
So you're just kind of calling out to him in your mind, like trying to get him to speak to you. Okay. I would say probably about an hour of doing this. You don't get a verbal response, but you do get something that indicates there is a listening ear.
Does the listening ear have a presence that I can like feel somewhere?
You feel it within your core. Like you feel that there's an entity, a familiar entity nearby. You can't pinpoint a physical location, but you do feel it.
Is that you?
Without words, just sort of almost like flashes of imagery and emotion, you get the indication of yes.
I need some answers to some questions I have. I've very confused by some information that I recently learned.
It indicates it's listening.
I need to know what exactly is happening to the thief.
You have images flash before your mind, because it wouldn't be your eyes, but within your mind you see these images of you see the individual as he seems to be undergoing, his skin seems to be darkening in places, almost turning to this almost a black leathery hide in some spots. You see that the some of the objects that he has on him seem to have rotted and seem to be being turned into this black sledge that seems to be clinging itself to him. He seems to be at the moment of seeing these imageries, you see him wandering through a vast white desert of snow. Ice forming on his skin and face as he is wandering, and you get this sense of a sort of pestilence that seems to have clinged to him as he is suffering and decaying, but cannot find death. And the imagery fades.
Is that because did they ever put the ring on? Is that what caused that, or?
You get a feeling of no. And you get to see the flashing images of the night that the ring was stolen, when he took it and ran. And you saw the first moments of this pestilence forming on him, starting as a mild sickness that seemed to fall on him as he was traveling, and then seemed to grow as he reached the Outlands.
So what I thought was true. The ring was sold to that one merchant, Reginald.
You see a flash of images, and you see the ring being handed between his hand and a hand of yellow fur, which you assume to be Reginald.
Well, last I heard, that merchant was heading back north towards Almoria. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to leave and go for the ring?
There's a pause. Oh, just keep talking. Sorry.
Or do I just continue on my path? Do I look for the thief?
There's a pause, almost as if this entity is considering options. And before you see flashes of images of a moment in the future where you find an individual wearing the ring, and you are able to remove it from them. You do not see who the individual is, but you do see a moment where you are able to pull the ring from their hand.
Okay, so you're telling me that I should just continue on the path that I am right now?
You get a feeling of yes, and you hear the words mixed in multiple layers of various voices that just says, "The time will come."
Thank you. One more question. What exactly is this mask that I found? I don't remember learning about it.
You're given imagery of others who have worn the mask in the past. And you are shown the capabilities of the mask, which are listed, which you will end up showing at some point, of the spells that it allows to be cast. And then you also see what happened to those who didn't use the mask to its potential. How their minds deteriorated and then were lost. And their bodies transformed into terrible entities that ravaged a large area before being taken down. And then the images fade.
I understand. Thank you for finally allowing me to speak to you, even if you don't actually speak to me. I will redeem myself and then one day go home.
There is almost an acknowledgement to your statement. You're not sure if it is one of just simply acknowledging you on what you said, or like there's no emotion attached to this. It just seems to be an acknowledgement before this entity seems to fade and you find yourself alone again.
Okay. I'm just gonna sit there and stare out over the water.
Okay. You guys sail for the next few days, encountering no issues due to it being the beginning of winter. There's not much moving around right now, at least on the ocean in this part of the country or part of the world. And I haven't. Why is this map not labeled? You are trying to go to what city are you trying to land at? Because I don't even have it labeled on my map for some stupid reason. I don't know how that happened. I think my file reverted.
Blood Gulch.
Gotcha.
It's always been Blood Gulch.
You ever wonder why we're here?
Just to suffer.
What is the meaning of life?
So many
I mean,
questions.
why we're here in this box canyon?
Just to suffer.
Have you never seen Red versus Blue?
I have. It's been a long time, so I was forgetting the reference. I stopped watching around season like 12.
That sounds about wise. Yeah.
Was that the Halo show?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard it. I heard it went downhill from that point. So
yeah.
I didn't watch anymore. I wish it didn't go downhill, but that's all good things must come to an end at some point.
So Magnus, what's Blood Gulch all about?
Perfect. I have fixed my map so I can see exactly where the fuck Blood Gulch is.
Place.
And Dragon roll con save for me. Sorry, you keep doing your description. I'm yelling at players.
Yeah.
What? 15.
Okay, you're good.
It is my home. A truly interesting place.
You mentioned a mother before. She's still around?
Yes, though she does not live there. She moved with my father.
I see.
No, it is not simply raiders, but it is a place of true culture, thing to culture those who live on such a dangerous place can get.
I'm walking away for a second, so keep arguing.
So is it your capital? I mean,
capital.
Stupid question.
There
Raiders,
is no
you probably
true
don't have a.
capital.
Yeah.
They have some interesting
That is
creatures over
where
there.
things get complicated. Yeah. We
This
are not simply raiders. What their minds. And we are happy for those who wish to stay blind to believe that. You think our only music is that of drums and horns, but with enough coin you can find taverns and has skilled fingers of an archer playing a lyre. Sure, our sport fight, no place where you can find truly wonderful food with the most simple of ingredients, or a place that flows so well with riches due to our requirements of it.
interesting. So you said that bar that's of significance to your culture is here in Bloody Gulch?
The ancestral tavern. It is not a holy site like anything of Giant's Bane, but the Blood Oak is important there. All who enter sneak a sacrifice to it. A simple cut of the hand, drop of the blood, feed its roots.
So sounds like this won't take very long once we actually get there.
We will not be at the ancestral for long. However, we will need supplies. Rippers are truly X. Horses useful in the mountains. And you all will need clothing for the cold. I don't know what we'll do about the altitude. Perhaps you'll survive. Well, survival is worried about. You do not have to come if you don't want to.
No, I'll see it through.
I have one question. Can you find purpose there?
Magnus stops full 30 seconds and just staring at Errol. There is a place where all can find a purpose.
I will go.
Upon mountain, cold, truly free, there is a monastery, simply called Winter's Bane. All who enter, as long as they are willing to learn and willing to listen, will be welcome. The monks there, they do not teach specific. They simply teach control of yourself, of the things within you.
That's going to be necessary.
It's where I trained.
I'm going to need help with these two if I am to use them effectively. You mentioned rippers.
No.
I remember
Yes.
seeing some of them in my journeys in this area. They're not to be taken lightly.
A pack of rippers. They're not careful. Luckily, if they're not hungry, we won't have to worry about them.
Are they trainable?
If you're...
It kind of cut out. I didn't hear the answer.
There's been a lot of cutouts the last 5 minutes, and we've been able to get most of it, but still.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it is trainable.
If you're
to some
mad
extent.
enough.
Ah, that would make sense.
All right, there we go. That's the answer.
Magnus, Trinket and I have been talking, and after we conclude our business here in Blood Gulch, we were talking about returning to Amoria.
A simple sail. Fine. I'll make sure that you get a good ship.
Well,
I'll even pay the money to get you a good sailor.
it's not because we really want to leave. It's because, well, I had a vision, and, well, it seems our country is at war with our neighbor. Well, you're a great warrior, and I was wondering if you might want to come along.
You wish for me to a war zone.
I was able to piece together that.
I mean, well, you are the greatest warrior I know. I'm sure, looking over at Trinket, and she'd appreciate it.
Some people who don't want to spend the winter resting.
Well, just think about it, all right?
All right, with this awkward silence happening.
Oh, can I do something?
What would you like to do?
I'm talking.
Magnus is just going into the ocean by now.
I'm gonna tie a rope around the like kind of through the skull.
Okay.
And then so it could sit on the back of my head, like kind of dangle behind.
Like sit on your backpack behind you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Alright, that's all I'm doing.
Around this point, as you guys finish your conversation, and you are all kind of standing there, Sins manages to get the boat to steer into the small port near the edge of Blood Gulch. A few familiar faces to you, Magnus, move along the this dock, preparing to help tie off your guys' little boat. Them also noticing you, and one of them producing a whistle, causing others to kind of come out and see what's going on. And you find yourself being greeted by others of your kind, your raider companions that you haven't seen, and for you it feels like only a few months. Due to the interactions with them, you come to find out it's been a lot longer. You've been missing for some time, and you don't know why.
Magnus wouldn't even stop. He's just moving towards the tavern and let like those around him follow if he needs. And he just still trekking on. He just says, "Scrap the ship I came in on. It's useless. It has usable materials. I must count the dead."
And Sins is following close behind you. Trinket would be lagging behind with the rest of the party if they're following.
Yeah, I'll follow at a distance.
Yeah, you guys kind
I'll
of stick to the
follow in the air.
outskirts of the crowd that seems to be following Magnus. Magnus, as you enter the let me pull up my note on it. Your court of the dead. The ancestral tavern with the large oak tree within. You come to find that there are some mild repairs being done on the inside of it. A few people working on repairing various furnitures, reinforcing some of the beams within this building, as well as you notice that there are a few people that have standing by the ancient oak tree within this tavern. And as you're kind of walking in, you notice that along this tree there seems to be these slits that have been cut into it. And along these slits there seems to be this red, festering blood red festering kind of growths that seem to stick to just the spots where the tree has been cut. And the way they look, they've been cut is it looks
Magnus
like claws.
Goes to the bar. Magnus goes to the bar and gets a bottle. Gets a tankard of mead because he needs this for the. He's gonna go over to the tree. And like anyone who looks like they're about to leave, he's just gonna tell them, put the word out. We need a raiding party for the winter. There's going to be a war.
One of them gives you a nod. All of them a little surprised by your sudden arrival because they weren't paying attention to you coming in. One of them does give you a nod, though, and seems to quickly make their way out of the tavern.
Cuts of his hand, does the gives the sacrifice of blood to the roots of the tree, and just takes a dagger and starts carving the names of his lost comrades into the bark.
As you're doing this, you notice as your blood dripping to the tree, the growths seem to fester a little bit, seem to shake. And for a moment, you hear a familiar voice kind of whisper from within these growths that just says, "I didn't think you would make it back here." And as you are, it goes silent immediately after you start carving into the tree.
What this voice clear from?
You recognize the voice as the voice of the skull hound that you encountered with the Aarakocra. The one wielding the hammer. Back in the city of Gravewell. Coffin Rot. Coffin Rim.
Magnus just kind of shakes his head and just roll here. Magnus looks over to anyone who's around the tree still. It's just full on how droll. That's his only reaction to the voice.
The other three didn't see. They seem.
He's
confused.
Gonna keep carving.
Yeah, they seem confused by this statement.
He just keeps carving the name.
Just let you do your thing as you start carving the names in.
Yeah, he's like, while he carves the name, he is gonna ask, has anyone met a pair? And
I'm assuming you're saying an Aarakocra and a skull or Lupin, because you cut out again. And I couldn't tell if you were just pausing or being cut out.
Yes.
One of them turns to you and just says, There was an attack, roughly a few weeks ago, of an individual matching that description. They
Going to Gulch and all others who take part in Blood Gulch's trade routes. They are not welcome within the walls of any of our homes.
That has been established.
Kill on sight order.
Your father had said the same thing. And,
Good.
There's 15 people, well, was 15 that were missing. We're now only missing 2. The other 13 have been found.
Dead.
13 have been found dead. 2 are still missing. One of which is your mother.
I heard you correctly, didn't I?
Yes. You notice the individual
You
kind
said my mother?
shifts slightly, kind of nervously, and just says, yes, that is correct.
I feel if
You're breaking up.
If they've taken my mother, they may as well be dead, either by my hand or by hers.
It didn't seem like that when they
Still
were
gonna
leaving.
Find
But
her.
it made it sound like they were going towards the swamps of Vandarth. A place your mother is familiar with.
The bird, the one he's around.
Say that again.
He's asking.
God, you're
Ripper
cutting out
Liam.
so much.
Yeah. It's like every other word.
Like trying to piece together what you're saying, and it's really hard sometimes.
It's going great for character building, though.
He's asking about the pet.
Oh, the pet Ripper. Oh, okay. We have not seen him since the attack.
Ugh.
We believe he might be out
Soon.
somewhere.
He'll either find me or he'll find her. I need to count the dead.
The 3 of them give you a nod and begin to walk out of the tavern, muttering to one another.
Wait.
They stop. They kind of glance back. What was that?
Did I cut out again?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Does father know?
Your father's looking for her. He was on his way to Vandarth the last that we heard from him.
Fine. Do what you've been assigned. I have dead to count.
They all give you a nod and proceed to leave the tavern. The rest of the party in this moment, you guys have been watching. You guys came in roughly around the point that Magnus had started his little ritual by this tree. What would you all be doing during this time as you watch him practically interrogate 3 individuals?
Well, to stay respectfully quiet, because I give this kind of like ceremony, and he says, "Oh, it's not a sacred place," but I don't know. The vibes I get is it's kind of an important place, and I shouldn't really interrupt.
Sins is drinking by the bar, by the way. He got himself his own drink and is just sitting there waiting for Magnus to be done and just drinking. All right. So Magnus, you get through your process of counting the dead, marking them upon this tree. Um, your eyes continuously seeming to go to these festering growths upon the tree that they don't seem to be moving as much as they were when you dripped your blood upon the roots of this tree, but they do seem to shift ever so slightly every so often.
Magnus takes a step, just simply says, "To all those who have fallen, keep your name." And he owns mead. Okay, so how much of that got cut out?
Like a third. You said to all those who have fallen, and then it cut out. And then it was something about the mead, and I'm assuming you said downed it,
And
but I'm
all
also
of
thinking you might have drunk like
Yeah. And to all of who write in their name. And then and then yeah, it's a ceremonial drink. You fucking chug that shit.
Okay. So we got most of that too. So we got the idea now. We 100%. I think we got it all. I think we got it this time. I don't know why your
We
internet
also
is
need
shite
to
tonight.
give blood.
He's talking to you.
Yeah, to Magnus.
Trying to
I didn't hear what you said.
He said, "Do we also need to give blood?"
Yeah, that was my question.
Silence is golden? I think I take that as a no.
Can't tell if there was an answer or not.
It's been kind of hard tonight. I don't know what's going on. Though reception and shit has been spotty.
switched to my phone, so
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, I just switched to my phone trying to make that work. All right. Yeah, what'd you say?
I was asking if we also need to give blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the threshold.
All right.
Yes.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna walk up, pull out one of the daggers, stab hand.
I'll pull out my dagger venom. Make sure not to venomize it, and give some blood as well.
Trinket pauses for a moment and kind of extends one finger and slashes her own hand. Kind of hisses a little bit, not liking hurting herself, and drips a bit of blood. Each of you hear something as you do this. Trinket and Journey, and Draka, if you partake in this as well.
I do not.
Okay, you do not. So Trinket and Journey. I said drink it and Journey. Wow, I took your letters and swapped them around. You both hear two more familiar faces. Didn't think I would ever know they got here. Errol, you hear the words, "This one is surprising. I didn't think I would see one of them around." You do not recognize the voice, Errol. Journey and Trinket would also you both would recognize the voice as the Skullhound that you had seen with the Aarakocra back in Coffin Rim. The ones who told you to get
After they do something.
Yeah, to get the glass rod for them because she thought it would be fun if you guys did it for her.
That bitch.
After he says the pair, I just like the angry ones still. I'm good.
You're still breaking up on your phone.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Like, it sounds like your overall connection is just garbage, and I've been having issues with my phone today, so...
Yeah. Magnus just says, like, it's the pair from the abandoned town. I'm still going to open the skull of the angry one and drink his brains like a smoothie.
Yes, I recognize the voice.
Person just said I'm interesting. I don't know what that means.
It means you're new and you can do very interesting things. The lizard is going to die here. Not in this specific place, but you have entered the tavern without sacrificing blood. Your entire life is cursed. Everywhere you step, bad things will follow. Have a nice life.
And Draka's probably smirking about this because he's already given that curse. Oh, shit.
These lucky curses don't stack. Well, the same curse anyway.
Do curses stack, bro? DM, do curses stack?
Like, it is just a general, like, you know how, I mean, I think I heard this on Family Guy, where it's just, like, the only, in Australia, the wildlife only attack Australians. In the meat grinder, those who break customs are the ones who get fucked over the most.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Magnus is just going to, like, once he's done carving the names, he's just going to look to everyone else. The stores here are like any other. This place is like any other except for the customs. If you do not know what to do, ask me. But like I said, this place is like any other. Get provisions, get ready for travel, get ready for the cold. Can't really do anything about the altitude. We have an interesting journey, and most of it will be on foot. There are not many steeds that can brave the trails along the mountains.
Shame we couldn't bring our sand speeder.
The mountains would have broken it.
That reminds me, and I'll pull out the other bag of holding. We have rewards from, what is it, Pearl Bay? We have rewards from Pearl Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, I think it was 1,000 gold in this. So there's, what, 5 people? Each one gets 200?
I don't.
Alright, how many other people in the party then?
4.
4 plus
5.
So
Trinket.
wait, trinket, yeah, okay. Alright, so each
250
maths.
gold.
Yeah.
Magnus
That's a pretty good pay.
250.
Yeah, without Magnus, it's 4. If you don't count Magnus, it's 4. Since when?
Yeah, Magnus just holds up a hand and it's like, it's bad luck to take a share of something you did not work for.
They better to town.
Right.
In
Does
3
anyone
days.
need an extra bag of holding? Do you want to commit seppuku and, I don't know, chuck one inside the other?
Well, it's good to know we have multiple bags of holding among us, in case we do need a pocket black hole.
I could carry it in the meantime. I might put cursed items in this.
Trinket seems to not like the idea of a black hole.
Magnus, where can one go to obtain a ripper?
Okay, people keep on talking about rippers. Magnus, what's a ripper?
Imagine a dire wolf of any coat of color, then give it the largest teeth you possibly can. Give it a massive attitude problem, and the ability to rip your throat out in 3 seconds.
Why does this sound like Magnus?
Some of Magnus. Magnus's animal stuff is kind of based on the creatures of the grinder.
Because it's just like you just described your character without meaning to describe your character.
I mean, his mom has one as a pet. Of course he can. Of course it can.
Oh, I'm assuming Errol would know what it is because he had to come in this area, so he'd probably seen them.
Yeah, you would have encountered one or two. You probably would have killed one.
Yeah.
At some point.
Magnus just looks over at Errol. It's just go into the wilds, preferably one of the valleys with trees, and hope you do not find an entire pack.
You know, I think I'll stick with my friendly blink hound. But you do you.
Time to go tame a ripper, baby. Let's go.
Magnus,
Errol wants to go and tame a ripper.
Yep.
What supplies should we equip ourselves with before we head into the wilds?
Cold weather gear, obviously.
How many provisions did we expend on our journey here?
8 days worth. 9 days worth.
8 days. 9 days worth of rations. Thank you.
Any kind of food that does not produce a strong smell.
I assume people saw it.
Do not carry anything that produces a strong smell. That is how you invite rippers. Or stalkers. A corpse plant, maybe.
Alright, I guess we'll go into the town then, buy all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure your weapons are good.
Oh yeah, is there a blacksmith around here or weapon shop?
There would be. This is
Magnus
a town.
Magnus gives the evilest fucking grin possible. It's just like, this is the place you'll find some. This is the second greatest place where you'll find weapons.
Is there a? Yeah, I'll follow along. I have some money to spend. I need to upgrade my gear.
I wanna. Oh. Continue.
Go ahead. I have to look something up anyway.
I was gonna say, could I communicate with my my little friend to try to figure out more on the mask?
Yes. What would
should I send you DMs or?
You could speak with me. It'd be fine.
All right. So now that the spirit's in here, how does one use this?
The skull is a fickle thing now that contains the spirit. You just simply need to attune and allow it to transform you without losing yourself.
And how does one attune?
Simply spend time with it.
Should I put it on my head or just having it near me? Is that enough?
I would say meditate with it. Keep it off of you but close. Putting it on too early could end in catastrophe. And I wouldn't want that.
We have souls together.
Yes, we do. Oh, the plunder we'll be able to acquire. All right. So what's the rest of you trying to buy?
Is there a Fletcher around here?
Like an arrow shop? Like a place to get arrows and bolts?
And arrows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could easily get bolts and stuff.
Okay. And I presume I'd get, except like crossbow and that kind of stuff, a blacksmith, right?
If you want the bolts you could get from a blacksmith, it would be like a weapon shop that would have
weapon shop.
Yeah, it would be a general weapon shop. They would have everything because
where do they carry armor at?
They probably also have it in the weapon shop.
Let's go to the weapon shop, Errol.
All right. I don't know if they'll have stuff for me. Maybe the temple that Magnus talked about earlier might have some.
While leading them to Magnus's preferred blacksmith. He just says, "This is a truly my mother named our Ripper after him. He's a friend of my father. Liam, he's from Black Rock. Truly great smith, but not as good as his friends back in his home, sadly. Still, better than anyone else you'll find."
Now I need to make a note because I didn't have a name. So let me make a note.
Dropping the lore on you.
Yeah,
Magnus.
as it's happening.
Would we be able to take a journey to Wintersbane before we depart?
Yes, you could take me there.
After Frostheim, we'll go to Wintersbane.
You mentioned it's a monastery. I'm interested to see what they have to teach.
Yes. I need to go to Frostheim, and then we can go to the monastery. I need to brush up on some of my ways with the axe, anyway.
You think your father would have any info on some of the creatures in this area?
His father's not currently in the country. He would have known that.
Oh,
Magnus
right.
would know that.
Never mind. I forgot. My bad. Forget I asked. Just that question never happened.
That question? Dumb. Didn't happen. Don't talk to me.
No, it's like Magnus just very slowly looks over at him. Why ask my father? I'm right here. And like just that predatory grin with elongated canines shows up.
I'm just thinking of the Grinch.
Jesus Christ. A Grinch with a battle axe.
Yep, my next D&D character.
Just a naked green hairy man with a battle axe.
Nope, wait. That's my next Elden Ring character. There you go. Anyways.
The Rippers interest me. I wish to befriend one.
You will find it difficult. Though if you can find one alone, especially a young one, it's possible.
Do they prefer certain food, or should I just feed them my enemies?
They enjoy it when they struggle.
So enemies it is.
All right, you guys go.
Errol's gonna like this town.
There's plenty of bait everywhere.
Errol is hungry.
Oh dear God. Okay. So you go to this blacksmith. What are each of you looking for specifically?
I'm looking specifically for, like, this is a piece of enchanted here. It's called the Armor of Cold Resistance Studded Leather. So yeah, I just wear leather armor right now. So I figure we're looking for stuff with cold resistance, and I'm looking for an armor upgrade.
For magic, we'll have to go to Strixhaven or Giant's Bane. Maybe Liam will have something, but maybe.
Okay.
Do you have cloaks?
There would not be cloaks here.
Okay. Then I guess I'll go, I'll ask just see if I can get any studded leather. Which is a common.
The studded leather?
I'm looking.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you would be able to find that. The studded...
45 gold piece.
You said 45 gold. Oh, that's what it is in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be roughly that price, yeah. You need 45 gold pieces.
Yeah. I will add that to my equipment, and I'm guessing they don't buy used equipment.
Liam would purchase used equipment so he could melt it down.
I would say any smith would, but depending on the smith would depend on how much the price would have degraded based on the armor.
Yeah, I'll just ask if he'll buy my old leather. Like if he can use like the leather for anything.
He would take it off your hands for like 10 gold pieces.
I will happily do that.
Would he have anything to upgrade quarterstaff?
He could make you a metal one.
Oh.
I enjoyed that single just ooh.
You'll upgrade to a $50 staff.
Almost a full $1.
And no, you're only halfway to a full $1. But if you use 2 of them,
I'm the 50 cents of quarterstaffs.
Trinket is also going to get studded leather. That's like the only thing she's going to buy is a little better armor.
Lindsay's. Now my armor class is 15 instead of 14.
I'm not going to say what hers is.
Magnus would just... He would just walk in and drop the axe, like, in front of Liam and just be like, make it better. I know you can.
I guess if that's a service that's being provided, I'd ask if I could get, like, I guess, my, hand crossbow, my rapier +1 or something.
Like, it legit, it doesn't even have to be a stat thing. It's legit just... That's just how the Grimgaw family probably deals with Liam when it comes to weapons.
He just sharpens... It's literally him just sharpening the blade that may or may not even need to be sharpened.
It's just like, you're good at what you do. Do something. Here.
Are you giving him the mad axe?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he picks it up and he kind of gives it a look over and seems a little intrigued by it. And he says, he kind of turns to you and just goes, "Where did you find this?"
It cursed me. It followed me. It's annoying. I want it to be useful.
Father spoke of a blade such as this one. He takes it over to a sharpening stone and kind of starts sharpening it. Says, I didn't think I would ever see it myself.
I hate when things follow me and they're not even good at what they do. And he is like full on speaking to the axe as he says this.
You hear that laughter in your head as you were saying this towards the axe.
He just says, like, directly to the axe, like, Liam knows he's fucking crazy. He knows the Grimgaw family. He just says to the axe, you are a shit piece of equipment.
I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw for me with disadvantage.
Oh, that's funny. So your axe is
It's a cursed weapon. He is a cursed weapon.
At it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
21. Wait.
21.
Yeah, 21.
You fight back the urge to break into hysterical laughter as this blade
You can't even do that right,
as
idiot.
It cackles at you. But with that as well, you will also take 3 points of psychic damage as the blade did retaliate against you.
He's just verbally abusing this fucking axe. It's just like, you can't even hurt me right, you idiot.
You have a slight bloody
better.
nose. You don't realize it at first, but you have a little bit of blood trickling from your right nostril due to the psychic damage.
He just wiped the blood away. I couldn't even feel that. Get better.
The cackling continues, but it doesn't respond anymore.
To any outsider, this is just Magnus being crazy, but at least this is like the one time where Magnus is like, no, this thing literally speaks to me. This is the one time I'm not being weird.
What makes it better is it's never said a word to him, it's just laughed at him.
I see if the blacksmith has a +1 rapier.
I'm going to roll a check to see if that's possible.
I'm going to wait my turn before I hobble up.
He says, I unfortunately do not.
What about a +1 hand crossbow?
Not one of those either. We don't have much in the place of enchantment.
Darn.
Says,
Guess we'll wait for Strixhaven.
He kind of randomly reaches over. He says, "I do have this," and he kind of pulls out this like huge glaive that's like almost 10 feet long.
Beautiful.
Partially not my skill set. Thank you anyway, though.
Trinket standing next to her, new like ears kind of fall down a little bit, like almost like, you know how like when cats get afraid, like their ears kind of fold.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. She's kind of like sinking a little bit. Kind of takes a few steps back.
Are all +1 weapons considered magical for their +1, or can some just be? Because like the description for +1 weapons is usually the statement of masterwork weapons, which could easily mean
they're magical. They're magical in the sense that they're given the magic property. There's reasons for it. They can't be destroyed via magical means, and they can't be destroyed using certain spells because they're a +1.
But is that all? Because masterwork weapons are still considered +1 weapons, but they're only just masterwork. They're just very well built.
Yeah, but it's there's a set to it. Like there's a way to it. They take it's the equivalent of doing an enchantment, but not at the same time. It takes a lot of time to make a +1 weapon. Unless you're an artificer, and then you're just like, yeah, that's a +1 now. Because they just have that ability.
I've been thinking about playing an artificer next campaign.
Wait a minute, Jared, don't you have that ability?
Yeah.
Why would he give that to any of us? It's Jared.
Have you ever used it?
No, I don't have anything to use it on, and no one's proved themselves worthy.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. He's got me there.
See, it's Jared. Of course he wouldn't help anyone else out.
That makes sense. Fully understand.
Arrow's just gonna slap his quarterstaff on the table and be like, "Alright, this bruises people. I need something to put dents in people."
He kind of gives you a smirk, puts away the glaive, goes into the back, and brings out a steel rod, equivalent to the same size as your quarterstaff, and kind of sets it down on the counter in front of him.
Magnus stops him. It's just like, I have a better idea.
What might that be?
So?
The wood is still light. This one is fast. This isn't like creating something for me. And he takes out a handful of gold coins, melt them into caps to put on the end of the weapon.
Well, that's a pretty malleable material, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
What if we melted down some silver? That'd be good against lichens.
Mix it.
Supernatural? Oh, that's a good idea.
Pull out some silver coin as well.
Liam is good with alloy. If you can mix it, do it.
Give me an hour. And he collects up the coin and material and takes the quarterstaff and heads into the back. You guys now have an hour, as he is in the back.
Well, we've got weapon and armor upgrades. Where do you suggest we purchase warmer clothing, Magnus?
We could go to the madam, but the corner of her brothel that has the clothing parlor is not the best we can go. We'll go to where my mother used to go, an elf named Elvira, seamstress. Good at their job.
You want to send me that name? You need to send me all the fucking shit for this sometime in the next 4 weeks.
I want you to understand, some of this shit
Oh, you're coming up with on a
in
whim. I
existence
know.
right
Yeah,
now.
I know. You're coming up with some of this on a whim. You need to come up with the rest. Give it to
It's
me.
good that you're recording it.
So the DM knows what the fuck's going on.
I make a sleight of hand check to put the amount of gold that Magnus gave the guy back into Magnus's pouch from my pouch.
Yes, you can roll a sleight
without
of hand
him
check.
noticing.
Roll a sleight of hand
Let's
check.
go.
Magnus, what's your passive?
17.
It's loading.
What'd you roll?
Please. It's still loading. Shit takes forever. God damn it, I got a 12.
Magnus would notice this.
Alright.
He just looks down and just... No.
As he's dumping coins in your pocket, and he looks up and just like...
I'm holding like my hand still with the gold in it. You say no, and I still just drop it in.
I can totally picture this scene.
You said Goliath, right? Yeah. A little owl just staring up.
Perfect.
It's Magnus
He's
retaliating.
reverse pickpocketing someone.
It's just he just like if you continue doing it, he just shrugs his shoulders.
All right.
Just accepts it. Just like it's happened.
I put the amount that you paid in there. I don't know what it was.
I was waiting for Tyler to tell me.
It would have been, you probably would have dropped, like, to make simple metal caps, it probably would have been like 30 gold pieces. It wouldn't have been like a super expensive amount. You're not breaking the bank doing this shit.
Especially because half of that's going to be silver to create the alloy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. You now have 30 more gold. Actually, it remains the same.
you just remain the same.
You've achieved homeostasis.
Magnus just like stops for a second before he looks to the party. He's just like, "Oh, if you know any special ways of dealing with demons, that's useful as well."
I'm just looking at Errol right now in his fancy Wendigo helmet.
And the mark on my arm.
While rare demons are what all who live on this continent have to thank for their ancestors being so strong. I don't know if they live within the mountains or if they fall through the cracks of magic that sometimes show up. It happens. We kill them. It's fine.
You tame them?
No.
Errol kind of just grins.
Taming them is
Errol's like, I tamed one.
Taming them is only for our god.
His name's
meet
Tom.
your god.
I'll tame your god, bitch.
If you wish to have visions from Brunor, we'll have to go to Giant's Bane.
Yes, Brunor.
I'm gonna raise my arms and go, yay, more demons.
Woo, demons! You raise your
Fun
arms
fact.
and you are at like your hands are at shoulder length of everyone else. No.
This is funny. Fun fact: Brunor, he is actually one of the sworn enemies of my goddess. Isn't that funny?
Oh, there's a lot of clashing in this fucking party. Holy shit!
You know, it's standard Pantheon shit.
Yep, standard Pantheon.
The ideals of my god are admittedly not that of a nice one. However, they are simply those of what was given to him. At least that is how he sees it. At least that is how we believe he sees it.
I forget who's Andraka's god again?
Your character wouldn't know, but it would be Nemo.
Because that's the other god that my god is opposed to.
There are 3 chaotic gods in this world, and one of them is the sister of your god. So.
Yeah, but yeah, she is allied with that one, but against the 2 other chaotic gods.
Do you understand? Where there is balance, there must be something to upset it.
I agree.
Hey, chaos.
Don't worry, I'm not about to go speaking out against your god or anything.
Those of my kind
Oh my god, I just realized something. You guys are the Chaos Crew, and the other one is fucking setting balance to shit. What the fuck is happening?
Oh yeah, my goddess, she's chaotic good.
I might switch Errol's alignment.
Yeah, Errol would be. I would say, upon making the deal with Dalgamane, you probably would have become more chaotic.
So chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I'd probably say.
What were you,
All
true
right.
neutral before?
Yeah.
You could stick. You could stick true neutral, but you would be a little more chaotic with that. But that's your choice.
I get a chaotic neutral.
Errol, the chaos child of this party.
Okay, so I'm going to say, for the brevity of time, because we're getting to like the end of the session, you would be able to acquire your cold winter gear. Those of you who need it, which is everyone.
Yeah.
Which I think
literally everyone except Magnus.
Yeah, your cold weather gear, which you would be able to get for, it would be 10 gold pieces a piece.
Okay, 10 gold pieces for. I'll just add cold weather gear to my notes.
No, it's actually a thing you can do. It's clothing, and then it's cold weather gear.
Yeah.
What if I said comical for a second?
Yes, comical.
Magnus would ask, Errol, just, do you truly wish to see visions of my god?
I have nothing left to live for, so if he could entertain me while I remain on this world, sure.
Well, if you are that easily separable from your own life, we can go to Giant Spain, take you to the only holy site upon this continent. There's a well of blood, most likely of the demons long dead, but that doesn't matter. Those who are worthy, when they drink from it, are given great gifts, and those who are not, everyone around gets to watch them scream as they die. It's wonderful.
Sounds like a fair trade. I've already made a pact, and I'll point to my arm and goes, this one just wants souls, and this one just wants flesh.
As you point at the one on your wrist, it does actually kind of writhe a little bit. Like, the tattoo itself seems to shift under your skin, and then go back to being still.
I'm happy to give them both.
Is Giant Spain our next destination, then?
No, Frostheim.
Frostheim. Roughly how many...
Now you're the one lagging out. Repeat that, good sir.
Roughly how many blank?
Nate.
Sorry. How many days away is Frostheim when traveling on foot?
Magnus would know this, and it would be because I had to update the map because I found out one of the cities was not there for some reason. I think you gave me too many names, and I just didn't realize that I had too many names.
So is the Magic Academy map the most up-to-date, even if it doesn't have the town labels on it?
Yes.
When you're measuring that amount of time, take into account that travel is slowed by the sheer amount of mountainous terrain you have to cross.
No, I know. I got that. I do understand. I don't know why I said it in that voice. I apologize. I do understand. Magnus would know it's about a probably normally would be probably be a 10 days journey.
Okay. I have 11 days of rations, but Magnus, I suggest you're talking about bringing food that doesn't give off a scent. Perhaps it would be best if we subsist off of our nourishment beads during our travels through the wilds.
Are you saying your rations give off a scent?
I'm saying I keep them in my bag of holding. And
They wouldn't give a scent off if they're in the bag of holding.
And I think it'd be better if we probably use the beads to skip our meals when possible.
We do that, or when we would be able to use our rations. However, we would not be able to sleep where we eat if we were to sleep at all.
Well, I'm willing to share my beads around with our group to tidy things up a bit.
I might pick up more rations, nourishment speeds, and then I need raw meat.
Yeah, I'll pick up some extra rations just in case.
Do not purchase raw meat to start this trip.
It's going in the bag. It's for another thing, not for consuming.
It's cheaper if we get it along the trails anyway. The forests we'll cross, they're not exactly devoid of other wildlife. Rippers are not the only thing out there.
I'm guessing we won't have to worry about purchasing water here.
Well, you could purchase water, or when we're traveling, we could get snow. Don't eat it while it's still cold, though.
I'll need to feed the other one at some point.
Like I said, once we're out traveling, we'll have many chances to hunt.
Tyler, how much gold for 3 days of rations?
24.
24 each, or cumulative?
Total. 24 gold in total. It's 6
Okay.
gold sheets.
How much for the little beads? I don't even know what they're called.
Beads of nourishment was something you guys found. They're not sold in stores.
Oh,
Okay.
damn. All right.
It's a magical item that it gives you a day's worth of nutrition.
What is a bead of nourishment's rarity, actually?
I think it's they're not usually sold. They're sold in like certain stores. I think it's
I'd say because if it's uncommon, I'd say you'd be able to find it in Strixhaven. But like
it's a common item, but it's tricky because the things I've read on beads of nourishment is they're common in the sense they're common in the world of magic, not in everyone else's daily day-to-day. I would say Strixhaven would be the place because that's the magic place.
That's the only place I think you'd find something like that.
Because it is a wondrous item, so it makes sense that it would be something from there.
Yeah, it's like especially in Blood Gulch, because Blood Gulch, most of their stuff relies on just the talent of people. Blood Gulch, because Blood Gulch is the place that does recruitment. Like Blood Gulch is a lot more social compared to other places, at least with its general ideals. You're not exactly going to find the best stuff to buy here, but you're going to find some of the coolest people.
You could say I'm 6 per ration?
6 gold per ration.
Okay, so I'm going to be buying 18 gold in rations because I'm just buying 3 rations.
Oh yeah, so I
up my rations as well.
I'm bringing it up to 14, just so I have like 4 extra days of rations. I'm going to be eating off the beads, but just in case.
I bought 12, so I'm subtracting right now.
Barring anything I've forgotten, I think I'm ready to travel.
Okay. So you guys collect your materials, preparing yourselves for the journey of heading on to a new destination, and this is where we're going to end tonight.
Do I need to modify the quarterstaff in my inventory? Or...
I would say click on your quarterstaff, and did you add a +1 quarterstaff, or did you already have that? You already had that.
It's already been a +1.
Click the button. So click on it for the customize and put silver.
In the name or notes?
In the notes. If you click
silver.
yeah, it's silvered now because you have silver on it.
Now you can
Oh,
punch
okay.
ghosts in the face with it.
Essentially, the staff doesn't change, but because you put silver on it, it now has the silver property to it, which
It
means
goes through non-magical resistance now.
yeah. So creatures
Okay.
like lichens you can now hurt because you have a silvered weapon.
Hell yeah.
Silvering a weapon is like the quickest way to make a normal ass weapon able to hurt things that have non-magical resistances. So silvering a weapon is actually a lot better than people think.
Okay. All right, that's been updated then.
Nice.
Okay. Is there any other things that we need to take care of before we end this?
Oh, we're not meeting again until May, correct?
Yes. I'll explain that. So the next time we'll meet, which will be for you guys, will be May 5th. Due to I have a certification exam that I need to prepare for, so I need the 2 weeks to do nothing but do that. That is also why I did that, and I'm also moving at the end of the month to a different apartment that's a little bigger because I decided that I wanted a bigger apartment. Moving up in the world, you know. And yeah, I got to sign the lease here soon too. On that note, though, we will have that break next week. We will be doing, I think we'll be doing the Academy and the Wild West campaign, and those are the only two. I don't know if we're doing anything this weekend yet. I don't think we are.
No, we're not.
And okay, yeah. So I'm getting distracted. I have another group, another D&D group who's contacting me right now, and I'm trying to focus on two things at once, and I shouldn't be. On that note, though, now that we are ending the session, we hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to catch us in future episodes, there are 3 ways. Follow the Twitch and turn on those beautiful notifications so that you are notified the exact moment that we go live. You can join the Discord, where you can talk with us and other D&D fanatics, and can possibly partake in one-shots that we may or may not have in the future, depending on how this group develops over time. And where you also get notifications whenever we do go live. And the last place is to join the Twitter, where I try to make an announcement the day of to let people know the exact time that we will be streaming, and we'll also let people know of times that we won't be streaming or if there's cancellations and things of that nature. And if you want to watch previous episodes, we have a beautiful YouTube page that we have created just for all of you with lovely playlists that you will be able to see the episodes in order. And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed, and we hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.